Welcome to Songwriters from Here and Away. This is a show that focuses on new and established songwriters from Atlantic Canada, across Canada, and around the world. Hello, and thanks for tuning in. My name's Robert Campbell, and this week I had a call with Mr. Rob Lutes out of Montreal. I've known Rob for a number of years. We've hosted him on the show, some of his songs, and I've had him for live concerts, and we hope to get him back real soon. Rob has garnered many awards over the years and has a number of albums and is a historian of sorts and also an instructor on songwriting and doing a workshop that he'll tell you about. So let's just start right into the interview. Here it is, Rob Lutes. I met you first, I guess, when you were touring through Nova Scotia, 11 years ago?
Yeah.
And you did a tour as Sussex, which is your band name usually, right?
Yeah, it's a side project I started in 2016 with an old friend from, I grew up in St. John, outside St. John, and an old friend from there who was a vibraphonist. And
fabulous vibraphonist, Michael Eminow.
Yeah. Well, we just played a gig last week, and what's crazy is, we play regularly. I wouldn't say we play tons, but we play regularly, and it kind of mixed it in with my own shows. But he had just been in the States. He lived in Oakland for 12 years, I think. And he was playing. That's when he really got into full-time playing every night all over the place. And he went back down there and had a week of work, gigging and recording in studios. He actually recorded in Wally Hyder Studios, where they made the Eagles albums and all kinds of, important records. Yeah. Anyway, but he was working with some heavyweights. So he was working to get ready to go down, and then he played all week. So we played a gig last Friday, sort of a sit-down theater type show here, and he was just on fire. It was amazing when, because I see him when he hasn't played in a while sometimes, but he was just ripping it, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Here's a live concert take that we recorded back in 2016.
Well, I know a girl who's 5'4". She sleeps in the bedroom with her feet out the door. She's always trying to remember what it felt like before. And I know a girl who's 5'9". She's whispering low to a voice on the line. She's always waiting, just biding her time. Oh. And I know a girl who's 5'5". She's perfected her smile, but she's barely alive. Even she doesn't know when she's telling those lies. No. With foolish dreams and dark desires, it don't take much to tangle entire worlds. We're just like little kids with big ideas. And when our lives are uninspired, we'll book the next best thing for hire, and for a little while we'll believe it's gonna free us. Well, I know a guy who just can't think small. He's building a castle just to watch it fall. He's done it before, but he doesn't recall. No. And I know a guy who's cuddly and slow, and all that he knows is he'll never let go. Well, his baby is gone, only he doesn't know. No. And I know a guy who works straight till dark. He's striking at stones just to capture a spark, but he's missing the point while he's making his mark. Dreams and doomed desires, it don't take much to tangle entire worlds. We're just like little kids with big ideas. And when our lives are uninspired, we'll cling to what has got us mired, and for a little while we'll believe it's gonna free us. Almost worlds never do collide. Search the other for a hold to bridge the gulf between you and I. Tentative truthful words must first combine and touch. to sing the blues. Now he's teaching his heart, it's got nothing to lose. He's a little more kind and a lot less confused. Oh, and I know a girl who was icy cold. Now she's learning to tell what she never was told, and it's taken her years, but she's begun to unfold too. And they cool the dreams and calm the desires, release their minds by clipping the wires till the current cannot reach the blinding bolt. And water still as waves expire, the world reveals its true attire. The moon is always lonely, always full. Yeah, the moon is always lonely, always full.
So that was Sussex, and we tour. You know, we still play quite a bit. We released an album in 2024, and it's kind of a something that we both get to do just to engage our interests, not for necessarily for commercial gain, but more for musical fun. Yeah.
There's videos up on our channel of you guys that I did.
Yeah.
So that's 9 years ago, I guess. Yeah.
It was 9 years ago. That's right. Yeah. No, that was a nice room. I enjoyed that show quite a bit. It was a good sounding room.
Yeah.
You still do shows in there?
No, we sold that house and we're in a tiny little condo now. And we went from 3,800 square feet to 800 square feet.
Okay.
We downsized
Sure.
tremendously. So that's why our closets are Jenga puzzles. I think you started releasing albums in like 25 years ago. It looks like you've had 10 albums.
Well, I have 8 as Rob Lutes, and I have 3 with Sussex, so 11 technically.
11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you see the ensuing years since then? How do you feel your writing has changed or your performance? Like, what's been the arc for you?
The arc for me has been from a young person, really, I mean, like a lot of people, very into music and learning the guitar. And recording the first album was something that I kind of, I was not someone who had this natural kind of thought that this was my normal path. I come from a family of accountants and, professionals, and musician was not something that was super, super encouraged. I won't say it was discouraged, but it was not encouraged.
Same with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of folks. Yeah.
A lot of people have that. Exactly. So I made that first album, and it was just like almost terrifying and thrilling at the same time. And then, and I was very nervous on stage. I mean, I liked it, but I had, I was not one of these naturally comfortable people.
Right.
And so the arc in terms of that part of it has been from someone who, had some reluctance and some nerves, severe nerves about getting on stage and engaging, to someone who feels very comfortable and enjoys really engaging with audiences and getting to know them and conversing with them from the stage. And so that's been really gratifying. And I use that I do on the average, probably 5 to 6 shows or workshops a week. Like I'm always doing something with people.
Either online or in person.
Online or in person.
Yeah.
And so that's been a very, very, very valuable thing. And it's allowed me to get to know people and to also just bring the passion for music that I have to them. And that's really what we're doing, I think, as musicians, really, when it comes right down to it, is we're sharing a passion. And so that's been great.
Light it up and let it burn. Put on your party hat. It's not the time to be concerned or measure where we're at. Let's build a fire with what you want and what I'd hate to lose. in the things we didn't choose. The things we didn't choose. We were born to love and dream, but we had to duke it out. The joy that burst out at our seams was paralyzed with doubt. Well, flat out freedom was the goal, but we learned to love the blues. Well, you know how we find ourselves in the things we didn't choose. We find ourselves in hell. We find ourselves at home. We find ourselves far off the river we swore would be our own. We find ourselves in love. We find ourselves in loss. We find ourselves amazed at just how strong we were to finally get across. Well, turn around and look at me. I'm just like way back then. It's not a trick of memory. No, this love is happening again. And where it leads, we cannot know. We just follow all of the clues. Well, you know how we find ourselves in the things we didn't choose. Well, you know how we find ourselves in the things we didn't choose.
That was Things We Didn't Choose off Rob's The Bravest Birds album from 2013.
In terms of songwriting, I would say we start out without sort of having the, what's the word? You know, we started just writing what's from our heart and doing the best we can. And I was lucky that I had a first album that had some really good songs. I look back and they were well crafted by total by chance. But I guess I had the same
Instinct.
Instinct. Well, we all have the same model, right? It's like, how do we parent? We had parents. How do we write songs? We heard songs. So I was just modeling on what I heard. And I guess over time, we all seek for different types of hooks and ways to connect and ways to align words with chords and melodies that are special, that take your breath away. So always searching for that magic moments in songs. And I say I'm a little less free in a way now than I was then, because I came in naive, just writing 3-chord songs and not caring. Now when I write a 3-chord song, I go, ooh, maybe I should do something. So I have to really be careful and try to bring that naivete into my work.
We can overthink it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's very easy, especially the more knowledge we get or the more tools we get in our toolkit. We kind of second guess. Do we use that roofing hammer or the framing hammer?
Exactly.
And so you ponder those issues more than you should sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you also have a track record that you feel like you have to live up to and something. But I really think really trying now to be more like, and I mean not to such an overuse, but a Neil Young who released 50 records, and I had probably up until 2000 I had them all. I was a fan of that level, and now, but where they're not all going to be heart of gold. They're not, so you have to it's a numbers game. And I teach music and I talk about Irving Berlin, and I've gotten to know his catalog quite well. He published about 1,500 songs. Well, about 30 of them, if I played them for you right now, you'd know them. You'd say, I know that song. About 150 other ones are really good. And then about 1,200 of them
are dog's breakfast, right? Or just average. They're just average. Yeah.
They're very topical. They're dealing with an issue. He has certain qualities that are always there. However, forgettable. And so, it's like, this is arguably the greatest writer in history. You could make that argument. And so it's really important that we remember that. Now, that could also make us just toss stuff out. And I think that Neil Young lately has kind of been recording records, like not really working them hard enough, I would say. And so I think there's a danger of just going, and there it is, and I'm moving on the next song. So I'd say you got to find that sweet spot. And every song is different, as you know. So it's really awareness, and what am I supposed to do with this song?
Right.
So that's been, fun journey.
To the shore, I'm gonna live like before. I'm gonna take that old familiar drive down the 134. Shea Leo for some clams, flood my memory, break the dams. By the time they bring my order, I'll remember who I am. Well, it's still single filed across. It's where we learned how to get lost when we were kids. In that slow summer heat, climbing up on our bare feet and jumping off the Shediac Bridge. A post office and a store where you never locked your door. When the world was more than quiet, you could hear the thunder roll. Swimming in the brine, comic books and fishing lines, and listening to the old folks telling tales about the time. Well, they climbed up in early May, just before the break of day, when they were kids. For their death-defying leap, well, it's all at 15 feet when you jump off the Shediac Bridge. The Shediac River breathes the ocean tides. Fills and empties every day as we ride the currents of our own complicated lives. Something pulls us back that way. Sous le soleil acadien, nous nous sommes retrouvés sur ces mille de beaux chemins. And when I'm knee deep in the mud, I can feel it in my blood. That spirit doesn't trickle in, or it rolls in like a flood. But we were learning to be free, we trusted in the sea when we were kids. In that sweet summer heat, climbing up in our bare feet and jumping off the Shediac Bridge. Well, I could use it now and then. We will find ourselves again jumping off Shediac Bridge.
That was a track called Shediac Bridge off the 2021 Knives album. Wanted to remind you that we are a podcast, so please give us a like, give us a follow. All that stuff really helps, and it also helps the artists. So look us up online, sfhaa.ca. We are in the interview with Mr. Rob Lutes. Here we are, back at it. You're writing a lot all the time as well as doing workshops. Do you write solo? Do you co-write? What's the balance there for you?
I mostly write myself. My wife is a sounding board, although as we've had kids, less. We're less accessible to each other, but in that creative zone, I have co-written with lots of different people over the years, but mainly I write them myself. And then I have a few trusted people that I'll play them for. my guitarist, Rob McDonald, who's, people don't know him around the country, but he's in Quebec, he's widely known. He's a phenomenal of all styles. And so I played with him since 96. So he knows my whole catalog. We've played every cover known to man. And
great history.
So it's great history. And so he'll listen to it and he'll tell me. He'll be very honest with me. And he's usually very encouraging, because usually by the time I bring it to him, there's something there. There's something worth something, You
need a trusted partner if you're going to be in that situation. So you got Rob McDonald, you got your partner, your wife.
Yeah.
And honesty with the feedback. I heard someone say that the songs don't fall apart when they're released. They fall apart when they're recorded and people aren't honest.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Like, so you're not honest, the producer, the engineer, the songwriter, or the performer isn't honest with themselves or with each other, saying that line is not strong enough.
Right.
Or that that's a great bass track, but we need something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The other thing that I've relied on, and this was from Ray Bonneville, who used to live in Montreal years ago.
We've had Ray on the show a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Ray and I were friends. We're still friends. I mean, he doesn't live here, but he, when we were talking about it, and he said it, and I think it's true. When you're in front of an audience and you're singing an original song, and you sing that line that's not quite there, you know it.
Right.
Because if you're delivering a song that you really feel good about and strong about and confident in, you don't have those moments where you're sort of mumbling the line or hiding the line, So that's what I really try to make songs that I'm out there and every word I'm going, yeah, this is what I want to say. This is how I want to say it. This is poetic, so.
Right.
And then again, if we analyzed every song in history from that perspective, so many songs are just so simple and so devoid of any of that kind of thing, and they still work, where, all of these songs, like I was just doing the history of rock and roll, Louis Jordan, Let the Good Times Roll. Come on, everybody, let's have some fun. You only live once, and when you're dead, you're done, so let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Don't matter if you're young or old, let the good times roll. In that context of a rock and roll song and a party song, a dance song, it's perfect. Yeah. It's not for a sit-down listening crowd. So it's also, dependent on what you're trying to, where you are. And rock and roll song, I think you can really get away with, or a dance song, you can get away with some throwaway lines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If people aren't listening, or they're just there for the emotion of the song, right?
Or for the groove or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Or the solos and So.
If I was gonna tell you what I think I would have told you long ago, the night we walked out in the snow, I was fumbling but you did not know. If I was gonna tell you what I think I would have told you on that hill, when the night was cool and still, there was a silence dying to be filled. If I was gonna tell you what I think I would have told you something true, but then I had to think it through, what it would mean to me and to you. And ever since, it's never seemed the time to be so candid and trust that we could ever be more. People throw away the plate of love that they are handed, forgetting that that's what this life is for. If I was gonna tell you what I think I would have whispered on that breeze, about how you brought me to my knees and how you captured me with ease. like sunlight dancing on the sea. If I was gonna tell you what I think, I might have maybe broke my heart. So I kept my heart and mind apart. And now my love lives in this work of art. I only tell you in this work of art. It isn't real, it's just a work of art. I could have been a work of art.
That was Work of Art off the 2021 Knives album. So, what have you got in the can right now, or what have you've just released an album?
I released an album last fall. It's been a year since we released it.
It's been a year? Yeah, I guess so.
It's been a year. It was a Sussex album called Shine, and it was my idea of, because when Michael and I played vibraphone and guitar, well, the first album we had gypsy guitar, manouche guitar, whatever you call that in the correct parlance, trumpet, violin, bass, my guitar, and vibraphone. Second album, we had just clarinet and trumpet and vibraphone and guitar. And this last one, I heard a lot of old country. And there's a lot of Motown, which has some vibes in it. Sometimes xylophone, but often it's vibes.
Yeah.
And it's down in the mix.
Yeah.
But it's kind of mixing with the pedal steel a little bit and sort of carrying this sort of these tones. It's not a solo.
Carrying a pad thing and
it's like a pad thing.
An ambience.
Ambient
kind of
pad.
like an electric piano does, like a Rhodes or a whatever does.
Exactly. And then, you have it in certain tunes like Sunny. Sunny, yesterday, first verse, vibraphone. There's sort of, it's like an answer, anyway, so I had this idea to do pedal steel. So we got a guy from the East, Joe Grass, who's from Moncton, great, songwriter, performer, producer up here, and a great bass player who I'd worked with on one of my albums, Morgan Moore, and vibraphone. So it's pedal steel, vibraphone, me on vocals and acoustic and upright bass. And so I wrote some songs that I wanted those guys to mix, and it came through. It worked, it was fun.
Nice.
And so that was a nice, acoustic experiment. And we did some old tunes. We did some of our own tunes. So that was the latest album, and we recorded it live off the floor. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You sent me some tracks.
Yeah.
How about we play one? Do you want to pick one?
Sure. Well, I guess we would play "We Were in Love" because that's one that I wrote with this idea of the mix of ambient vibraphone, sort of creating an atmosphere. It's a love song, kind of just images, but the idea of the tune was this kind of hook in the chorus, which was that when something's over and you're not with this person, there is this part of you that if you really go there would say, but damn, we were in love. Like we had this once in a lifetime special thing, and that's the kind of idea of this tune. But anyway, cool. you hear the vibes and the pedal steel mixing really nicely.
Nice. Okay, We Were in Love.
Oh, we crossed over the rolling sea. You showed me stars. You set me free out on the waves. I learned to sing this little tune. Was a sweet twilight melody. I followed you and you followed me into a reverie on that boat under the moon, and we drifted that way till we struck land one day. Oh, the skies at night still make me swoon. We had it all just to be in that world. Now you're all I think hands are made of wood, my eyes are dry, and my lips have turned to dust. Well, I touch the water on my skin, I smell the sea upon the wind, but I never know if there's anything that I can trust, 'cause I'm asleep half the time, and I dream you're still mine. Oh, I only soldier on because I must, 'cause oh, we were in love, we had it all just to be in that world. Now you're all I think of, and I'm gonna sail away with you, feel the ocean swirl. Yeah. Oh, I'm on the shoreline most every night, waiting here, baby, until I see your light. 'Cause oh, we were in love, we had it all just to be in that world. Now you're all I think of, I wanna sail out on that swirl, baby. Now, oh, we were in love, we had it all just to be in that world. Now, oh, you're all I think of, I wanna sail out on that swirl, oh, baby. Oh, we were in love, and I wanna sail away with you on the ocean.
I've got a note here that you were born in Toronto.
Yes. My dad was from the Maritimes. We were living in Toronto, and I was the his sixth child. And I think he just wanted to be somewhere maybe more affordable, closer to family. So we moved back there, and I stayed there until I was in grade 11. And then I finished grade 11, and sadly, my dad was an accountant. He got transferred to Montreal. So we came up here in 85 for 1 year. And then I went off to university, and I went to Acadia, and I ended up in Prince Edward Island with a girl from Montreal, and we conceived a child. And so she came back to Montreal to have that child, and so I came back to co-parent. We never got married, but we co-parented our daughter, who's now 33. So I came in 92, yeah.
So you've settled in and you have no desire to move to Spain or anything, but at this point?
Well, it's not, I mean, Montreal is, my wife is from Belgium. She's from Brussels. And this is the city that she would like to live in if we have to live in Canada. She might live out west. But yeah, I mean, no, I don't see us moving. I think when you get to Montreal, you live here, it's like, where would you go? And so we're pretty committed to staying here. It is a good musical town. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's necessarily the best town for an English songwriter, if anyone's asking for my advice. And not because it's not a rich terrain to get ideas and lots of interesting people in a beautiful, fun city, etc. And beautiful, but more that it's the industry here is more of an a Francophone industry.
Francophone, yeah.
Which is great. But it's a little harder, and it's not. So that's all to say. I'm not living. I like it here, and
Here's something I don't often do. I'm going to play one of the tracks that is a cover. So Rob recorded this Warren Zevon tune titled "Mutineer" back in 2009. Warren Zevon, a great writer. Here's Rob Lutes' take on "Mutineer."
Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum, hoist up the mainsail, here I come. Well, ain't no room on board for the insincere. You're my witness and I'm your mutineer. was born to rock the boat. Some might sink, but we will float. Grab your coat, let's get out of here. You're my witness and I'm your mutineer. Used to be we laughed at shadow, thunder crashed and lightning followed us, but it could never find us here. You're my witness and I'm your thunder crashed and lightning followed us, but it could never find us here. You're my witness and I'm your mutineer. I was born to rock the boat. Some might sink, but we will float. Grab your coat, let's get out of here. You're my witness and I'm your mutineer. You're my witness and I'm your mutineer. Oh, you're my witness and I'm your
That is Rob Lutes singing a Warren Zevon tune, and I wanted to remind you that you can get the links to all the artists that we play on this show by going to our website, sfhaa.ca. We'd love to see you there. We'll also have workshops and retreats and all that kind of stuff coming up, so please check us out. We'd love to hear from you. And we return to the final segment of this radio show. The full show is online, and it will be close to an hour and a half, I think, on this one, because it's definitely longer than an hour, and a couple more tunes and that kind of thing. So please check it out online. Here we go, back to the show with Rob Lutes. So you're doing I noticed online the history workshop, and it's an online workshop.
Yeah.
And anybody can take that? Like
Yep.
it's tailored for the general public or for songwriters, or who do you
No,
tailor that for?
I tailor it for the general public.
Mm-hmm.
I just taught it as a course at a school in Montreal. It's called Thomas More Institute. It's affiliated with bishops, but I've been doing this for years. Like I've always been a
Right.
geek for history, and lately, last 5 or 6 years, I've been really getting into it. And so, no, it's for anyone. And you go to my website, roblutz.com, and right on the front page, there's a link to it. It's going
Yes.
to be 8 weeks, January 7th to February 25th, every Wednesday, 6:30 to 8 o'clock on Zoom. And
Eastern time, we should
Eastern
say.
time,
Yeah.
very important to say, yeah. And it's $80 for the average person. I have a couple groups that are licensing it from me. Some, one seniors group, one MS Canada group
Mm-hmm.
from the West Island here. And I'm doing it in the winter. I did one last year because it's time when people, it's not the greatest to go out in the cold and it's
Right.
dark. But the idea of the program is really that as I've gotten really into this history, what it's allowed me to do is understand better what happened,
Right.
where did where we are come from? And it's not like, it is kind of like connecting the dots, because I start in literally colonial America, and talk about, the earliest settlers were mostly British, Protestant. What did they bring? They brought ballads, the Scottish and British ballads. They were listening to religious songs, but mostly psalms, because they were Puritans. Even though they were separatist Puritans, they were Puritans, and so they didn't believe that singing hymns was okay. They thought hymns were a deviation from what God wanted. God wanted you
Right.
to use the Bible. So and then we talk about folk songs that arose in America. We talk about patriotic songs. At the birth of America, there was, we have Star Spangled Banner, but there were, 10 or 15 like major songs.
Other ones,
Columbia, Gem of the Ocean, Hail Columbia, My Country, 'Tis of Thee, which is To God Save the Queen, and then multitudes of others that were actually written pre-America, because the deal was Americans were tired of Britain long before the Revolutionary War. They were being taxed without representation. Same thing that happened in the Patriot Rebellion in Quebec in the 1800s.
Right.
So we go from there, and then you have this, and then you have also dance music that runs right throughout the century but changes radically. And then you have this crazy thing, the minstrelsy, which pops up, which is, really comes from, well, it predates, but sort of comes from Othello, 1604 or 3 Shakespeare, where you have someone in blackface. And this became a norm over time. And then you had this star of music arise in the Lower East Side of Manhattan called Daddy Rice, Thomas Dartmouth Rice. And then this whole thing springs up of blackface performance, which becomes the television of the 19th century.
Right.
And then you have parlor music, and Civil War was an incredible growth in music because you needed musicians. And if you were a musician in the war, every battalion, every artillery group had a band. And
inspirational, rah kind of.
No, well,
band?
yes, but also communicative. There was no walkie-talkies. Every bugle caller had to know 49 calls to communicate with troops.
Right.
And the troops had to know them too. But if you were a musician, you didn't have to fight. As the war went on, they started pulling musicians out. But so there was this growth. But in 1889, there was about 10,000 brass bands in the United States. Wow. Musical literacy at that point in America was unbelievable. And you come to the 1900, you have, mass production of pianos. Not everyone, a huge number of people could play music and experienced it. And again, we're talking recorded music, really,
player
it came around and, well, there's player pianos, but you had recorded music from the 1870s with the cylinder and the 1880s with the gramophone disc, but moved into the mainstream, after 1900, and really not in a big way until, say, 1910. So people just knew how to play. And so we talk about the birth of ragtime, jazz, blues, into Tin Pan Alley, this amazing, growth. 25,000 songs a year are published on Tin Pan Alley. Wow. In New York, like we're talking, like you want to talk about some separating the wheat from the chaff. Like there was some really bad songs, but there's some brilliant songs. And so I sort of lead through that. And then you have the birth of country music. You have the birth of radio, 1921. And then you move up through jazz, the birth of jazz, and then the swing era. But then you also have a rebirth of the folk revival started in the 30s in response to the Depression, because there was a big communist movement in the States, and they believed that you had to go back to the people. This was this, Aaron Copland and Upton Sinclair, or these thinkers, was like, okay, the elites can't lead us. It's almost like today. They can't lead us, so we have to go back. And, then you all heading towards, you had the blues moving to Chicago, plugging in. You had jump blues with people like Louis Jordan, who I mentioned. R&B, which was just another name for race records in 1949. That was just black music. It was nothing new, but leading to, rock and roll. And you had the sort of perfect song with Rock Around the Clock, and the perfect artist to bring this to white teenagers, who was Elvis. And that's kind of where it stops. But there are millions of like accidental heroes and unexpected twists and turns. And more importantly, just really cool, interesting songs throughout that journey. So that's kind of what we do, and we do it over 8. And I sort of curate it because we can't touch everything, but we move through enough that you come to understand a little bit of the evolution of this music. And so I really find it interesting, and I think because of that, I think people kind of get into it, and we, so that's kind of what we do.
never caught us, but they rattled our hearts. What is life but a walk in the dark? We had to find our way. We had to get lost someday. Racing down the boulevard, stranded in our own backyard. We're just shadows moving through an empty park. What is life but a walk in the dark? We blew on the fire and we made some spark. What is life but a walk in the dark? You go so far from home, and you get chilled to the bone, searching for familiar light out beneath the stars at night. Whoa, whoa, living down here is an imperfect art. What is life but a walk in the dark? We hold it together and we fall apart. What is life but a walk in the dark? But won't you turn around? Look at all the love we found. Surely we can raise a smile and carry on for one whole night. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, oh,
That is the title track off Walk in the Dark, a 2017 album by Rob. So on your own songwriting, I imagine all this history has guides you into some of the styles that you have, because I hear a lot of flavors in your stuff in subtle ways often, right? And I guess predominantly you're kind of, what would you call, blues based sort of, or
Yeah, folk blues, I'd
folk
say.
blues?
Yeah, I would say so. But I'll go anywhere like that. I mean, I try to let myself go anywhere. I probably limit myself, but yeah, that's where I am. But yeah, this stuff has really opened me up to some other ideas for melodies and lyrics, and it's interesting because when you're studying this stuff, it's like I get so interested in what happened, and the perfection of some of these pieces of music that sometimes I don't go there myself in the same way. It's hard to explain,
Right. Yeah.
but yeah, it definitely has influenced my writing, and but in a sense, it's almost more that it's opened my mind to the possibilities
Right.
of all these different types of music, and there's no right or wrong, there's no good or bad. There's just a million ways to do it,
Gotcha.
and that's what I find really cool.
With your new album, you've got a number of tunes on it, and so you've got some songs that kind of are historical as well on that album.
Yeah, we do. We have, I think we have 3 or 4 covers. There's one song in
Right.
French, Parlez-moi d'amour, but we have a few covers. And we were trying to go to kind of bring blues and pedal steel into Tin Pan Alley. And so one of the songs that we did was one of these tunes where you listen to it and you look at it structurally. It's become a very popular song in manouche, for lack of a better term, gypsy music. But it was a song from 1921 or 22, and it's by Isham Jones. Wrote the music. He was from Ohio. He led a big band. He was a saxophonist, led a big band in the 20s, late teens and 20s in New York. They played the Charleston, the sort of definitive version of the Charleston. He was a great composer. He wrote the music to It Had to Be You, for example, and his partner in that song and in the song that I was on the record, it's called I'll See You in My Dreams, was Gus Kahn, Gerson Kahn. He was from Koblenz. It wasn't even called Germany. It was called the Kingdom of Bavaria. I think he was born in 1886. Came to the States in when he was about 8 years old. He came to Chicago, and he wrote Yes, Sir, That's My Baby, Makin' Whoopee, Dream a Little Dream of Me, all these tunes. And, so anyone who wants to learn a second language, he learned English and became probably the most articulate songwriter, a lyrical writer of his day. So he wrote the lyrics to the song, I'll See You in My Dreams. And I think this one, it's harmonically really strange. And when I play it with jazz players, even they're like, wow, that's really interesting and odd. And lyrically, it's just a beautiful expression of an unattainable love. So that's one of my favorites on the record. I'll See You in My Dreams.
Cool. Well, here it is.
Though the days are long, twilight sings a song of the happiness that used to be. Soon my eyes will close, soon I'll find repose, and in dreams you're always near to me. Well, I'll see you in my dreams, hold you in my dreams. Someone took you out of my arms, still I feel the thrill of your charms, lips that once were mine, tender eyes that shine, they will light my way tonight. I'll see you in my dreams. In the dreary gray of another day, you'll be far away and I'll be blue. Still I hope and pray through each weary day, for it brings the night and dreams of you. Well, I'll see you in my dreams, hold you in my dreams. Someone took you out of my arms, still I feel the thrill of your charms, tender eyes that shine. Oh, they will light my way tonight. I'll see you in my dream. Oh, they will light my way tonight. I'll see you in my dreams.
For the sake of the listener who may not know you, I mean, you've had folk music awards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
10 tracks on an album now. Albums are almost like a dying art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's your perspective on the new paradigm of this whole social media and the whole Spotify's and that? I mean, I see you doing some good stuff on socials media. Where's your headspace on all that? And you pulling your songs off Spotify, or what are you doing that way?
Yeah, I'm just leaving them out there. I think in the end, the paradigm has shifted so many times, and I don't want to, I'm at risk of going on, but, sheet music was dominant for
Yep.
the, say, Tin Pan Alley period, and then was basically gone by 1925. Recordings had taken over radio. And then at that point, you just had the gramophone record. They didn't call it a 78 because there was nothing else. And in 1948, you had the LP, the 33, which Columbia Records brought out, and sort of to make something completely different. This was the album format. And then the next year, RCA Victor released, and that was on vinyl, so it sounded better. And then the next year, RCA Victor released the 45.
Yeah.
And so to compete. And so, formats are really, the album format's really 1948 until whenever. So it's not like this was something that we always had. I'm sad that the album format has died because I think albums give you, as an artist and as a listener, when, you and I both have experienced this, and I don't know how many people do now, where you listen to the whole record and you knew the whole thing. Sequentially, and you knew, track 3 on side 2. Now they weren't always ace, every track wasn't always good, but then there were always those records where every track was good, and that was like those gems. So anyway, the social media thing, I think is just, it's the reality. And I'm not very good at it either. I try to put my name out there and put my stuff. And I think, the best advice I ever got from a woman who works at Concordia here many years ago, and it sort of circles back to my mind from time to time as I'm trying to find an angle. And she said, you know what? Be authentic. Just be authentic. That's all you can do. Just be authentic. And within that, you can adjust a little bit to try to capture some more eyes, etc. But once you start pushing yourself, and I've done it, tried to be this or that and capture more, I find it doesn't really work, Right. So anyway, but yeah, that's my view on it. And the format thing, listen, it was a singles world up until 48. And people existed and they survived. So I think we have to just move back towards it, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing new in the world, eh?
There's nothing new. You know what? There's nothing new. Exactly. Yeah.
Torn up and tired, no light to inspire, but I know I'm gonna get back to the air. It's a matter of time, a matter of love over despair. So when I look up and the sky is full of clouds, I can always find one beautiful thing. That bird has my wings, that bird has my wings. Please don't harm that pretty little bird, that bird has my wings. Wandering around and I'm so heavy on the ground, but one day I'm gonna break these bonds and fly. pretty little bird. That bird has my wings. That bird has my wings. That bird has my wings. Please don't harm that pretty little bird. That bird has my wings. Has my wings. Oh, what I meant. Holds my wings just like a friend. Knows my wings are gonna bend, but they will never break. I can't pretend to have a clue about the end, but I choose to trust and try every day. It's a matter of time until love will light it my way. When I can barely breathe, I will remember to raise my little voice up and sing. That bird has my wings. That bird has my wings. Please don't harm that pretty little bird. That bird has my wings. That bird has my wings. That bird has my wings. Please don't harm that pretty little bird. That bird has my wings.
Anything else? Anything you need to talk about? Are you playing around? Are you going to go doing any tours or anything?
Well, I've
Touring
got a
is
few
such a
things
difficult
coming
thing.
up. There's a few things I could talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got, I've been touring less. My kids are in high school. My son, just my two younger ones. So I understand that this time passes. So I'm not touring as much, but I still play, several times a month. But I'm coming down east in May to play at Paddle Fest in St. Andrews.
Right.
And, I'm always out here and there throughout the year. I do have a couple interesting things. I'm doing the Ottawa Blues Fest, where I've played a few times as an artist. I've also played at their Blues in Schools program, and I'm doing that this year
Good.
in March. Yeah, it's 2 weeks, and you're at a different school every day the first week, and the second week you're going back to the same one.
Right
And
on.
that's always inspiring because you can bring older styles of music to kids, and then
Sure.
they understand them, and this is why I love Christmas music, because I do some Christmas music workshops, and everyone says I'm tired of Christmas music, etc. But for me, it's one of the few opportunities for this new the new generation, whatever that new generation is, to hear British ballad forms,
Right.
Tan Alley forms, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, I'll Be Home for Christmas. These are song forms that you don't hear anymore.
No.
And
Yeah.
spirituals like, Go Tell It on the Mountain. So I love the fact that we get this at least once a year. Kids get to hear all these different forms and old styles. And I'm also doing the Hornby Island Blues workshops in May, and I'm going to be their songwriting instructor in BC.
That's
So
great.
looking forward to doing that. And
Hornby Island's a lovely experience for sure.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then, a few other things. Last 2 years, I did the Halliburton Folk Camp once as a songwriting instructor, and another one as a teaching about the first 25 years of the 20th century, 1900 and 1925, what was happening in music, and we learned songs. So I'm enjoying doing those kinds of programs because you connect music to history.
You're a mentor, right? I mean, it's that's that role in a sense, and I realize that's part of the reason I like doing what I do, hosting the songwriter meetups, and it's all ages, and public comes in and listens, and songwriters there just banging out new tunes, and not all of it's listenable,
Right.
in that professional sense.
Yeah.
But I'm always amazed at how even the greenest songwriters have incredible lines all of a sudden, or it's like out of the blue, something wonderful, and it may just be a nugget, and that kind of mentorship that you're doing is valuable. So I mean, that's why I do the workshops here. that
Yeah.
hosts the retreat and the
I think it's
and
like
online stuff as well. So
what you're doing is really important. And I mean, there are people who take it, I won't take it upon themselves, but it's in a very important role to be this sort of curator or a connector of people and giving these opportunities. Because when I was in Toronto, I went there in the late 80s, early 90s for a couple of years. I mean, I could play a different open stage every night. There was a folk scene, like that was still there.
Yeah.
And man, it was an important thing. People got together around their acoustic guitars and crafting words. So what you're doing, I think, is fantastic. And I think, sometimes I think I should be doing more in that regard.
We'll get you out here. Maybe we'll get you out for August. We'll have to talk.
Sure.
And when you're out in May, we'll do a show. But I think you're right. I think the idea of performing your songs is important too, right? To be able to have a vehicle. If you're thinking of recording something, like I recommend everybody go out and play them live. Go to every open mic you can and play that song until you know it, or you've changed it enough so that you feel that it's ready to record.
Absolutely.
I think anybody who's done a fair amount of recording knows the idea of recording something without doing that, and then kind of listening back, and a year later, after performing it live, you realize that you've had to change lines and you've had to change tempos or keys or whatever, and so that you can get underneath that song strong,
Big time,
to be able
big
to
time.
sing it strong, to be able to emote it to the person that's listening. And it's super important. So,
Yeah. And you might change a line. It's like you need to have, I agree with you. I mean, Ray Bonneville, speaking of him again, but he once went into the studio in this sort of like scenario where this idealistic scenario, and I give him credit for doing it. He went in with nothing written.
Right.
He booked the studio, and I don't know if he booked a week or 2 weeks. I think it might have been a week.
Right.
And he went in and said, we're just going to write this album and do it in lyrics and all in 1 week. And he went in and did it.
It's brave.
And I was talking to him. Well, I was brave. It's very brave. And I talked to him afterwards about it. And I didn't actually ask him about it. He just told me, he looked at me and said, never do that. Never do that. I said, oh yeah. He said, no, it was torture because you're trying to finish it. And sometimes things take time. It's not right, but it's not coming to you right now. And you might need 2 weeks for it to come to you.
Right.
And so he said,
or 2 years. I mean,
or 2 years.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah. And so he said, he had just had to go with what he had, and it was a record label, so he had to record it. And so he always kind of had this kind of moments, because great ideas that didn't quite come to what they could have been. But anyway, so I agree with you. It's great to play it live. And
so I can't think of anything else, but I really thank you for your time. It's fantastic, and we will get you out here for a concert in Halifax. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. Absolutely.
And maybe even get you for some workshop stuff.
Sure. Anytime. Yeah, let's talk, Robert. Thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you sticking around to the end. Please keep coming back and tell your friends. We'd love to have them online too. See you next time.
Built this bridge between us, and now you hold the match. The fire in your eyes burns while turned all we had to ash. Your rosy glasses skewed your view. You needed to believe that I was above reality. And now I'm on my knees. My only crime was trying too hard to be the one you loved. But I'm only human. I make mistakes and sometimes break from sticks and diamond stones. But I'm only human. I'm only human. I think I see your pain inside, so I won't close my door. I'll think of you as beautiful if there's really nothing more. My only crime was trying too hard to be the one you love, but I'm only human. I make mistakes and sometimes break from sticks and damaged stones. I'm only human. I'm only human. You made me question everything the day you turned away. Did you honestly believe your truth? Is that why you didn't stay? My only crime was trying too hard to be the one you love, but I'm only human. I make mistakes and sometimes break from sticks and damaged stones. I'm only human. I'm only human. I'm only human.